Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Welcome to your reading lesson for today. So for today we're going to be reading the story in your Ready book called Space Food. I believe this is page 299. So we're going to try to just do it whole group like we would do in the classroom, and I'm going to walk you through a little bit of it, and then you're going to do some of it on your own. So this week we are focusing on a cause and effect relationship in a non-fiction text, informational. We've gone over cause and effect before, and so what I want you to do right now is if you have someone with you, and even if you don't, that's okay, you could do this with yourself. I'm going to ask you a question, then I want you to pause the video, and I want you to tell the person next to you, just like we do in class, like a think, pair, share, or you can answer yourself, and then you can resume it and see if you are right. So here's my question for you. What is a cause and effect in a text? What is a cause and effect relationship? Let me put it that way. What is a cause and effect relationship? I'm going to add on top of that, what is a cause and effect relationship, and how can it help you understand the connection between events? What is a cause and effect relationship? And how can it help you to understand the relationship or connection between events? Pause. Okay. Hi, you're back after you've paused. So a cause and effect relationship show how two things are connected. A cause will happen first, and it makes something else happen. That's the effect. The cause happens first, the effect is second. It does not mean the cause is written first. For example, it's raining outside. I went and got my umbrella. Well, the rain started first, and that caused me to go get my umbrella. So getting my umbrella is the effect. So we're going to be looking at this cause and effect relationship. And we're going to, therefore, after we analyze this cause and effect relationship, we're going to see how events are connected and how it might make other things happen because of that, or further explain why something happened. So let's take a look at space food. The first thing I do is I look at my title. I see it's called Space Food. It looks like there's some astronauts, I assume, because it looks like things are floating. Anti-gravity, so I'm assuming maybe it's about astronauts and stuff they eat. That's what I'm thinking my topic is to get my brain ready. I'm going to go ahead and read it out loud for you. So we're going to start in paragraph 1. Astronaut food has changed over the years. In the early days of space exploration, astronauts traveled in small spacecraft where there was little room for food. Fresh foods in early space travel were not practical. They spoiled, took up too much space, and were too heavy. So already I'm pausing to make sure I'm understanding what's happening in this first paragraph, and it seems like we're talking about astronaut food, which I was right about the astronauts and food. And it sounds like there's a lot of problems with this. So if I was to annotate here, I would probably write the word problems, or maybe P for problem, just to keep that in my brain. Paragraph 2. As a result, woo, 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 cause and effect relationship. As a result, astronauts in space ate freeze-dried foods. Freeze-dried foods don't spoil. They don't weigh much, and they don't take up too much space. Add water and you have fresh peas, mashed potatoes, steak, or macaroni and cheese. There is even freeze-dried ice cream. Okay, first off, doesn't sound that good to me, but it's okay. I saw as a result, and I heard that alarm go off. It sounds like there's a cause and effect relationship. If I look back at the first paragraph, we're finding out that there's all this problem with the way food was in outer space. As a result, astronauts started eating this freeze-dried food. So it sounds like the freeze-dried food happened because there was too many problems eating food in space in the first place. So the first thing that happened was what? There was problems eating the food in space. That's your cause. The second thing that happened, what happened because it was so hard to eat? Freeze-dried food was invented. That's your effect. So that's how these are connected. We're also seeing sequence. Remember, first and next. Paragraph 3. Foods are freeze-dried in a food plant. There are many steps to making freeze-dried foods. First, vegetables and fruits are washed and cut up. Foods like meats and pastas are cooked. Second, the food is frozen to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Then workers grind the food into smaller pieces or into powder. Finally, the foods are dried to remove 98% of the water. Today, astronauts... Let me move this out of the way. No. Go back. Okay. Today, astronauts travel with freezers and ovens so they don't depend on freeze-dried foods. Still, many people who go on backpacking and boat trips often use them. Okay, end of our story. let's make sure we understand what this was mostly about, guys. Let's think about a main idea. I know it's nonfiction. The topic has to do with food eaten in space. It's informational. So I'm getting information about food that was eaten in space and why this food was invented, why this freeze-dried food was important. So let's go ahead and let's move on to our graphic organizer. See, I'm trying to be tech savvy for you guys. So you can open, no, not too tech savvy. You can open this up in your Google Classroom after the video. You can always come back and reference this video. Please remember, you do not need to type things the way I type. Use your own word. As long as you are taking the time to read what you're writing and making sure it's high quality work. That's all I'm asking for you guys. So let's check out this graphic organizer. Author's point of view. Astronaut food has changed over time. Remember, point of view is how somebody thinks or feels about a topic. So the author, whoever wrote this, Claire thinks that astronaut food has changed over time. That's what their point is they're trying to make, okay? They're trying to tell you that astronaut food has changed over time. So we need to find a cause and effect that show how it's changed. We're going to further prove this. A cause happening first and effect happening second. So let's go back and let's find information about how this has changed over time. Well, I remember in the beginning we talked about how fresh food was sent in early space travel, but it was not practical. It spoiled and took up too much space and it was too heavy. So there's a lot of problems with the fresh food. And then what was the effect of that? We talked about this in the beginning. Well, because of that, as a result, they started to make freeze-dried food. So I'm going to X out of this. In my graphic organizer, I would go where it says type here, because I have an awesome teacher who wrote that there for me. Why it happened. So fresh food was not practical for the astronauts and caused many problems. Fix my spelling because I typed too fast. Caused too many problems. That's my cause. Now I'm going to go down to my effect. Well, what happened because of that? Yes, you're correct. They made freeze-dried food. They created freeze-dried food. Okay? So you're going to go ahead and, again, it does not have to be my words. Use your own words. And I'm going to release you now to do the last page, the last slide by yourself. The last slide says, another point the author makes is that there are many steps to freeze-dried foods. There are many steps to making freeze-dried foods. In your own words, notice how it says your own words. It doesn't say copy what the book wrote, because we could ask a kindergartner to do that, right? We could say, hey, 5-year-old, write these letters. But what they're not going to be able to do is they're not going to be able to read it, think about what it's saying, and put it in their own words. So I want you to go back and I want you to, in your own words, explain, tell me about how freeze-dried foods are made. So how are these freeze-dried foods made? Tell me the process in your own words. And, here we go, use signal words correctly to show the sequence of steps. Remember, sequence is the order of events. So you are going to tell me in your own words, in complete sentences, written well, I know we can do this, how is freeze-dried food made? Use sequence words, signal words, there's even a hint here. First, then, finally, next, after, later, all these wonderful words. So this should not just be one sentence. If it is one sentence, it's probably a very long sentence. Okay? Don't be afraid to use 2-3 sentences. So this is what I'm really going to be looking at to be turned in. Yes, your graphic organizer should be done. However, we kind of did that together. This is what I'm really looking at. Okay? All right. You guys got this. Have a great day. All right.